Now let's look at this nationwide protest. There's been clamor, oh, we go protest based on bad governance, the performance of the president. Please, if you are watching this live, kindly help me kindly share, let's learn from each other, let other people gain from the knowledge. It's another interesting time with Polithink with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Well, I'm a political scientist. I am a public affairs analyst. I analyze on radio and TV. But then I find time to catch up with my people here. So what we'll do is today we'll discuss this nationwide protest, this planned nationwide protest. People are saying that, oh, President Tinubu, since he got into office, things have been very difficult, nothing is working, life has become very tough, the economy is dwindling. Well, that's correct. But then the president has also done some things. So I think before we knock the president, because if I'm to knock him, it's going to be a flawless victory. I'm just going to knock him silly. But before I knock the president, I think that'll be on another live. Today, we've had so many people knock the president. We've had a lot of criticisms back and forth. So today, I would like to use it to appraise the efforts of the president. Well, if anything is to go by, it shows that the effort of the president is either ineffectual or not enough, because no matter what, the results should matter. So no matter the effort you are putting, if Nigeria it is the way it is now, after spending over 1 year in office and people are still not smiling, if their hope is not yet renewed, is not being renewed, or there is no assurance that there will even be hope, not to talk of renewed hope, then we can say that definitely Nigerians are not finding it funny. So if Nigerians are not finding it funny, what does that tell us? That tells us that your performance is on the low. That means you are not performing, you are not meeting up to expectation. But then, despite the fact that you are not meeting up to expectation, I think it shouldn't stop us from reviewing your effort. It doesn't stop us from reviewing your effort. By reviewing your effort, it makes us to know what could have been done better. So reviewing your effort is not based on admiration, it's based on reality. Like I said, there's been a lot of talk about the criticisms. I think later on I will make a video of why Nigerians are protesting, or why Nigerians want to protest, x-raying the different reasons. It's going to be deep, it's going to be very lyrical, it's going to be incisive. So why Nigerians want to protest, or why Nigerians are protesting. But for today, let's look at the effort of the president. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been there since May 29 to 2023. Efforts of the president. Now, one of the efforts of the president is where to start from the inception of his administration is the removal of fuel subsidy. Now, there is different opinion about this removal of fuel subsidy. Some people think it's a bad idea, some think, well, it's a noble idea, some think it's a good idea. So now, let us look at it. The removal of fuel subsidy. Is it a good idea? Is it a noble idea? Well, before you cast an aspersion on the president, remember that Peter Obi campaigned with the removal of fuel subsidy. Same for Atiku Abubakar, same for Rabiu Kwakwanso, and same for the president himself, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So what that tells us is any one of them who eventually becomes the president after the election as contested last year would eventually remove fuel subsidy, because all of them campaigned against the removal of fuel subsidy, haven't realized that fuel subsidy is one of the problem of Nigeria, that the cabals are profiting from fuel subsidy. Now, I know it's been a long day, but if you can sit back, relax and let's learn from each other, it's going to be very fantastic. As you can see, it's been a long day for me, and I think I look tired, I look, a bit stressed, but then I'm right here making it happen. So now, the removal of fuel subsidy, all the major presidential candidates campaigned with the removal of fuel subsidy. So, has Bola Ahmed Tinubu done anything wrong? If he has done something that Atiku would have done, Peter Obi would have done, Rabiu Kwankwaso would have done, so can we say he has done anything wrong? The answer is no. Removal of fuel subsidy is a noble idea, because there are cabals that are profiting from it. There are people that are profiting immensely from that removal of fuel subsidy. What some of them do is, when they import fuel into the country, if they import 2, they will say they import 15. Then they will collect subsidy from government on the 15, whereas they only import 2. They would liaise with the IOCs, which is the International Oil Corporations. That's the meaning of IOC. They would liaise with them to bring all these, what they call on the street mago, and that has kept on for so long. So Nigeria is just servicing the pocket of a few powerful elite, not meeting the interest of the public. Then if you look at the fuel consumption, the fuel consumption that is going to Niger, Benin Republic, whereby petrol is cheaper in Nigeria, so they smuggle it, they buy in large quantity. Somebody will drive in all those big truck, or will come with a car. Those residing by the border will come with a car filled with 30 liters of keg, like 50 pieces of 30 liters of keg, buy the oil cheaply, then just drive straight into Benin Republic or Cameroon, or just drive straight into their country. And that is that is a monumental loss for the government and people of Nigeria. So the removal of fuel subsidy, in a nutshell, seems to be a noble idea. But then again, as noble as it is, one thing that flawed the president is his strategy. He did it in an overconfidence, vis-a-vis arrogant manner. If you want to remove fuel subsidy, it takes planning, it takes consultation. Nigeria is too big a country. The consequence of removing fuel subsidy, is too enormous than for you to come, than for you to take power with one white agbada and green cap, and you just declare by executive fiat fuel subsidy gone. No, it has implications, because if fuel subsidy is removed, we've witnessed it in the past, the price of transportation will go up, the price of goods and services will go up, inflation would increase, so different kind of things will happen. So it takes proper planning. So as good as the action of the president is, he solved a problem by creating another problem. And don't forget that the president came into office, not by overwhelming popular vote. What do I mean by that? If you sum the vote of those that voted for Kwankwaso, Atiku, and Peter Obi, if you add all their votes and add it to that of the president, what that tells us is those that doesn't want him in power. Who are the people that doesn't want him in power? If you vote for Peter Obi as your presidential candidate, that means you don't want Tinubu in power. If you vote for Rabiu Kwankwaso, that means you don't want Tinubu in power. If you vote for Atiku, that means you don't want Tinubu in power. So if we add the vote of all these people, it's by far supersedes the vote of Bola Tinubu. What that tells us is that those that do, you are the president, but those that doesn't want you in power are more than those that want you in power. Under such circumstance, what are you supposed to do? You are not supposed to take policies that will be deemed anti-masses policy. You are not supposed to take all this anti-masses policy or to approach government, governance in an arrogant manner. No, it should be in a sympathetic, masses oriented manner, not in an arrogant manner. So by coming on board and just saying first subsidy gone, you create problem. Now to not make it worse, that's why I've told someone, I said anything that the president sees, he deserves it. If Nigerians go into massive protests that gets out of hand, the president deserves it. He deserves it because he has had all the opportunities. You remove fuel subsidy, over 1 year you are just increasing minimum wage. How do you expect people to have been surviving for that over 1 year? If just imagine yourself as a poor man, don't imagine yourself as president, imagine yourself as a very poor man. How do you expect that you will survive? If you have 2 kids and you are living in maybe a room and parlor or a room, and the price of goods, bread of 500 naira has been increased to 1.5, every goods and services is almost times 3 just within the 1 year that you remove first subsidy. Excuse me, sir, how will you survive if you are a poor man? So as good as his idea is, the arrogance, the lack of planning, the sophisticated non-intelligence behind it caused a lot of problem. It created so much hardship for the people. A lot of hardship. People are suffering a lot. A lot of people are suffering. People can barely feed. So you just remove fuel subsidy without adequate planning and now making the people to suffer. Another thing is, as good as the action of the president is, you remove fuel subsidy but fail to go out to go after those that have benefited from that particular fraud system. You didn't go after them. How do you know a weak government? A weak government is a government that is justice selective. A weak government is a government that is selective in justice dispensation. That is one of the characteristics of a weak government. So if you as a president know that there is a fuel subsidy cabal, then you didn't go after those fuel subsidy cabal, you decide to remove fuel subsidy, thereby inflicting pain on Nigerians. And even after inflicting the pain, you didn't go after that cabal, then you are a weak president. That is just it. You being strong is not how after you can go about, you can go after protesters. It's not how about you can back at the opposition. It is how you can bring the high and mighty also to justice. How you can bring them to justice. But in this case, there's no justice anywhere. People are suffering, people are crying, people are dying. Your intention is good, but the non-intelligence behind it is a serious problem, especially when you are a non-popular government. Because you do have overwhelming vote. Look at in I think it's Rwanda, where the president in their recently concluded election scored over 90% of the vote. Those are popular candidates. That is a government with strong legitimacy, not the election that even the disputed election that brought Tinubu into office. So you remove fuel subsidy without doing your permutations well. You remove fuel subsidy without doing your permutations right, and you are now making people to suffer. So it's not about the action, it's about the result. Every step a government take is to make life comfortable for all and sundry. Is to make life comfortable for the people. Now you've removed the fuel subsidy, but the cabals that that created this problem, they are enjoying that money, they are enjoying that loot. Now you remove fuel subsidy, you pass the buck to the people you didn't create any succumb for them for over 1 year. If you remove fuel subsidy in May, and imagine that by June, July, you have unilaterally instigated the increase in minimum wage, won't people love you? Won't people love you? But it took the effort of labor to start protesting, to start fighting. So that means if labor had not fought for this minimum wage, by now people will still be receiving 30,000. What kind of wickedness is that? Huh? What kind of wickedness is that? You are a minister, that you have wife, is it the same money you are giving your wife for pot of soup? Is it the same money? So when you take good actions, back it up with good supplementary actions. Not that you just remove first subsidy and people will be suffering, people will be dying for over 1 year. Then you come on here and say, I feel your pain, endure. Are you enduring? You are not enduring now. You know? Endure. You guys use billions of naira to build the house of VP. You know? Kashim Shettima is official residence. If he doesn't stay in that house, is it that there's no way he can stay? Endure. The issue of this yacht, you know, came up. Endure. You are trying to buy presidential jet, despite the fact that Nigeria has a number of presidential jets. Endure. You still want to go and buy presidential jet, and you are saying endure. What kind of endurance is that? Practice what you preach. If you say people should endure, you appointed the highest number of ministers in Nigeria. You appointed the highest number of ministers in Nigeria, and you are saying endure. Okay, now endure. You say people should endure. You feel their pain. At the end of the day, you created another ministry. Ministry of Livestock Development, when we already have a Ministry of Agriculture. And agriculture, as we are being taught in primary, secondary school, is about two aspects: crop production and livestock rearing. Crop production and livestock rearing. That's what agriculture is about. You know? That's what agriculture is about. You now created a separate ministry which will be dominated by cattle rearers. Those rearing goat, pig, will not have say in that ministry. So maybe you should have even named the ministry of, you know, cattle rearing. So you are duplicating ministries, and this ministry will cost money. Offices, employees, you know, amenities, all these things cost money. So you are spending money and you are telling people to endure. You they chop, me they hungry, they tell me say endure. Which kind of endure be that? You they hungry. You know? Are you hungry that you are telling me to endure? What kind of endurance is that? People where they die since na endurance kill them. I refuse to die. So it's not about you just endure. No. It's also about doing the right thing as a government. Not taking the right action and not backing it up with wrong action. So the removal of fuel subsidy is a noble idea. It comes with good intention, but you know, subsequent supplementary actions were just on the wrong. We're totally on the wrong. You know, what action has the president taken again? Because we are reviewing the actions of the president. When people were protesting and were saying Ebim power, meaning we are hungry, the president in his magnanimity said they should distribute rice that customers seized. They should distribute it to people. That is a good idea, a very good one. It shows that the government is listening. But then, what will happen if that rice finish? And the rice distribution, or should we say sell at sell at affordable rate, was poorly coordinated. There was stampede, people died. But let's now imagine that, okay, assuming nobody died, those that bought that 10 kg then, have they not finished eating it now? We are talking of addressing poverty holistically. You are distributing rice. Man shall not live by bread alone. In Nigeria, can you live by rice alone? That rice that you collected, you will need palm, you will need groundnut oil to cook it. You will need gas. A kg of gas is like 1,100 naira. So if they give you rice at cheap rate, will you not buy expensive gas, expensive Maggi, expensive groundnut oil to cook that rice that was sold to you cheap? And what happens when the rice finish? If the rice finish, what will you make of your life? To be sincere with ourselves, if the rice finish, what will you make of your life? How do you survive? How do you survive? So it's not about distributing rice. Distributing the rice is good rather than for you to waste. But at the same time, hardship is not tackled by food distribution. No. You create something that everybody will benefit from. For instance, when there was unemployment in the land, and Obasanjo allowed telecommunication firms to operate, imagine the massive job that introduction of telephone created. Just imagine the massive amount of job. Those selling recharge card, those repairing phone, different. Till today, it's still, telecom is still one of the job creation ventures in Nigeria. It's had monumental impact. So you look at what people can benefit. You try to bring a society whereby the cost of goods and services is cheap and accessible to everyone and affordable to everyone. If you are to give something, make sure that it is something that can get to all and sundry. The rice, how many people collect it? Will I go and be queuing for rice? In Sena Climb, those rice will be distributed to your doorstep. They will come, they will count. How many people are living in this house? Okay, we have Baba Timothy, Iya Simbi, Iya Basira, okay, 3 people. They will bring 3 bags of rice to the doorstep of the house. And it will go round the whole community, even if it takes government going to use their money to buy the one that you are supposed to buy in the market. If it takes government going to use their money to buy, so that everybody can have the rice, some people won't feel cheated out. In Sena Climbs, that would have been done. That would have been done. But what do we have? We have a situation whereby the rice is now a race for the tough and the strong. Just imagine that. So under such circumstance, again, as good as the idea of the president is, it was carried out in a flawed manner. It was carried out in a very flawed manner, and there has been no follow-up, there has been no consistency. Okay, you distributed rice. What have you done to follow up? Nothing. Largely nothing. The cost of food is increasing by the day. My friend went to buy something that was sold for 400 naira just about a week or two ago. It's now 700 naira. You know, another thing that was sold for 19 just a week ago, when my friend got there, is 2,500. Imagine that. So imagine that you are very poor. You are now managing yourself. You bought something 19 last week. You have made your calculation. You now went there today. They said no, alaye is 2,500. How you want to do it? Remember the man that went viral on social media that will want to go and buy rice for his family. He got there. The price has increased. He was begging them. They didn't answer him, and the man burst into tears. Yeah, imagine a country that food is now, food is now luxury. Food is now luxury. Some people can't afford to eat. They can't afford to even eat rice. So, the president, as good as his action is always carried out in a flawed manner. Good action, sometimes poor implementation or non-intelligence, just flaws everything. Now, look, another action of the president is the minimum wage bill. And I will commend the president for that, because the speed at which the reversal to the old national anthem was done, ratification of the minimum wage bill by the National Assembly was also done in a similar manner. So the president maybe used his influence again, because we all know that we don't have an independent legislative arm. Except you want to deceive yourself, you think Akpabio is independent. If he tries to behave anyhow, they will remove him straight. The Tinubu boys in the National Assembly, especially the Senate, the likes of Okoyemi Bamidele, the likes of this Yayi, Olamide Solomo, many of them, they will orchestrate his removal straight up. So if you be deceiving yourself to think Akpabio is very independent too, So we thank the president for his influence on the National Assembly to make sure the bill is passed speedily. But then, that is, increase in minimum wage is not the campaign promise of the president. What the president promised is a living wage. The question we now ask ourselves is 70,000 enough for you to survive? If you are a family of 4, father, wife, and 2 children, from that 70,000 naira, you buy food. From that 70,000 naira, you have to save to pay house rent. From that 70,000 naira, you fall sick and need medication. From that 70,000 naira, you pay your child school fees. From that 70,000 naira, you will clothe yourself. Let's be realistic with ourselves. In Nigeria of today, what is 70,000 naira? That's why there's corruption everywhere. Everywhere you go, the gateman, if you go to an eatery, the gateman there is hailing you, is expecting a tip. From there, go to shopping complex, the gateman there is greeting you, is expecting a tip. Everywhere you go, they are expecting it, because why? It is those little tips that they use to complement their salary. So you can't tell people not to collect tips. It's just the entitlement mentality and the way some of these guys want to force you into giving them as if you owe them money. That's what pissed me off. So the president failed to live up to his campaign promise of giving Nigerians a living wage. So if I'm to judge him, I would say, thank you. 70,000 is better than 30,000, but then I will still fail you. Because why? I will judge you by what you said you are going to do. Have you done what you said you will do? No. No. That's the truth. You know? That's the truth. So the thing is, what I notice about this government is, if you allow this government and you are not on your toes, you know, you will live a very miserable life, because it is when people start reacting that the government usually wake up from slumber. When people started screaming about power and celebrities were joining and say, life is too hard, though, they released rice. When labor went on strike, they increased minimum wage. So it is when people act that this government act. So that means that for you to get the best out of this government, you must be on your toes all year round, all minutes round, all seconds round. Because if you don't react, the government won't do anything. You know? So the action of the president, he has taken some good actions, though, in fairness to him, but poor implementation. Poor implementation. And he has been a lucky president anyway. Nigeria has very patient people. You know? Nigeria is a country that you go to you go to somewhere, you buy something one night. You go back there with one night, they tell you no, it's 2.5, and nobody is protesting. And nobody is clamoring. Nobody is shouting. You know? The president will think, oh, I'm Bola Tinubu. You know, I have the magic wand. Now lie you. Don't deceive yourself, Mr. President. Nigeria is different from Lagos. So if you bring Lagos orientation to want to come and use it to govern Nigeria, that comprises of different ethnic groups, that comprises of different political stalwarts, you will fail. That's just the truth. So you can't bring Lagos template to the federal. Because why? The people at the federal are different from the people at the state, in Lagos State. Another thing is that the president has taken action to kind of like appoint people. But the problem is that it's too sectional. Sometimes, some of the people he put in this position, you wonder, you ask yourself that, what is going on? You know? All these Lagos boys parading Aso Rock, are there no other people better than them that can do the job? Lest I forget, another action taken by the president that is commendable is this humanitarian ministry. This ministry that, you know, his operation has been put on hold by the president. The ministry handled by Betta Edu, the suspended minister. That's a very good action. The ministry was created out of noble intention. Although I'm not in support of the modus operandi of the ministry, whereby you carry money, you put on table and start distributing to people in this age and time. Distributing money in such a way that it will be able, you know, it will be very difficult for you to give account of what you've distributed. If you want to give people free money, you can even use it to help all these microfinance, all this OPay, all this PAMPay, you know, Money Point. You can use it to help them, because if you insist that before you receive money, you must have an account, then last with all this OPay, PAMPay, Money Point, you know, they will go into those communities and open account massively for the qualified beneficiaries of the fund you want to distribute. By so doing, you can easily trace the money. But because the people in government have GBT mindset, they didn't make avenue for that. You see, when very intelligent people or people that are deemed or are supposed to be intelligent, when they act in a very irrational and non-intelligent way, just know that there is a problem. So I salute the president for putting the work of that ministry on hold and stopping this distribution of cash. But just when I was about, having great confidence in the president, because I don't believe in you have to be distributing cash to people. No. Who doesn't have problem? You see somebody, you said is poor, you give the person 5,000 naira. Who told you I'm rich? So you just assume that I'm rich. Do you know how many rich people you deem qualified, that are in humongous debt? Some people you are seeing that they are rich, they have not even paid house rent. So those people, are they not Nigerians too? So I don't support a situation whereby you just give money out to people. But then, when I was about applauding the president, this man try, I heard that they are about distributing money to maybe 50,000 households or something. Nonsense. Arrant nonsense. And since the day Nigerian government has been distributing money, especially when it became prominent during Buhari, I'm yet to see somebody that benefit, or maybe Namino Soji, maybe Namino enter town. I'm yet to see one person that can say, I'm a beneficiary of the money that was being distributed during Buhari time. But I'm not surprised that I can't identify anybody, because Buhari is pro-North. All his action, all his orientation is about Northern agenda. Maybe now that Tinubu is there and is a Southerner, maybe I can be able to point one or two people at the end of the day that will benefit from the money that Tinubu want to distribute to, I think maybe 50,000 households or something. Now, if you distribute money to 50,000 households, you are killing the productivity of that household, because when you are not in position to give them the money again, the time that you are giving them the free money, you are killing their productivity, you are killing their intellectualism, you are killing their intelligence. Now you gave them free money. Those people that were receiving free money during Buhari time, now that there's no free money, what is left of their life? But Buhari was distributing free money. People that can't cope again, some of them will go and join bandits, go and join terrorists, and begin to trouble the country. So let's be sincere with ourselves. The president has taken some action but can do better. When I see people that usually know how to spin, that will come on, on the media or on air and start lying and start talking because of they want to align with the presidency. Because recently I saw this Daniel Bwala. He's been going from one TV to another saying people shouldn't protest this, that this president is trying and all that. People know how food to chop. You are saying they shouldn't protest. Why? Because you have eaten, Abi. The same Bola Tinubu that you abuse, you campaign against, now you've suddenly turned his friend. You'll be introducing yourself as friend of the president. Which friend? President are your mate. So the president, I wish him luck, I wish him Godspeed, I wish him God's direction. But he should cut down on all these extravagance lifestyle. You want yachts, you want presidential fleet. Oga, this is not the time. This is not the time, because if the protest should occur, the way people are angry, it will be worse than all these, all these Kenya and all these countries. It will be worse than that. So it's teaching time saves 9, and I hope the president is listening to the people. you know, and not thinking that, oh, he can just do anyhow he likes. No. That won't work. I intend to make this video as short as possible. It's been a very wonderful time with you. In the context of this video, today, 24th July 2024, we've been able to review the actions of the president, the efficacy of it, based on the planned End Bad Governance protests called Days of Rage. Has the president not taken any action? Has he not done anything? That was what we've reviewed. And we've, been able to come to the conclusion that the president has taken noble actions, some good action, but which is poorly implemented and backed up with non-intelligence. An intelligent action implemented in a non-intelligent manner. We continue with this series. It's been a wonderful time with you. I remain my humble self, Dr. Omosholadeji, your political scientist and public affairs analyst. Please, if you are watching on YouTube and you've watched this video to this extent, that means that God has destined you and I to be friends. If you don't subscribe to my channel, it may not be easy for you to come across me on a big platform like YouTube. That's why you need to subscribe to my channel, so that as I'm dropping the analysis, you are picking it up instantly. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like, or is it follow me on Facebook. Currently I'm only active on Facebook and YouTube, because it's not easy for me to be active on all the platforms. So let's keep it a date. This is your #1 platform for analysis of politics and happenings in the polity, Polythink with Omosholadeji. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.